I guess we're live. Hello. Hi. If we are live, remember to do that good old like and subscribe, and comments are great too. Thank you very much. And now I'm gonna completely forget that I'm streaming and figure out if everything is working right, because I'm now streaming to another. I did some. I'm using a different type of program, being super vague on purpose, but I'm trying it out and I'm trying to see how this works because. I want to make sure it's working properly. Oh, hold up. I'm only on YouTube. Okay. All right. So start. Okay. It's not responding. Good job. Man. Give it a second. No? Okay, so it is sending stuff to it. Auto start when your thing. Okay, so it says online. Input is online, so I guess I have to manually start all of them. Okay, so now they're all online. All right, so you live new platform. Let's see. Oh, cool. Great. Let's go. All right. Let's see. Oh, that's perfect. And it doesn't even look that bad. All right, let me just do a test. There's a little bit of a delay, so I gotta wait. Oh, that's perfect. And it doesn't even look that bad. All right, let me just do a test. Oh, there we go. All right. It's good. It's good. All right, so that's up. I know this is up. I don't have to worry about that one. This one's also up. Oh, everything is just seamless. Seamless. All right, we're gonna be doing some Satisfactory. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. We're also gonna be watching some Destiny videos because Destiny's he's a fun, interesting guy. He's been doing a lot of Israel Palestine stuff lately, and he's had he has some really good, interesting takes. Some really interesting takes. Let's just say that. All right. All right, we'll go to home first. Oh, that's great. Cool. Also, now that I'm actually here for real, remember to do what's on screen. Thank you very much. Any of them, comments, comments, please. Those ones are very commenting is very well, I can't talk to people if you don't comment. So come on now, comment. Do it. It's down below. Down below. Down below. Actually, it's probably on the. Whatever. Wherever you need to comment, just comment. Do it. I dare you. All right. So I'm gonna open up stuff Satisfactory, and then we'll just. Oh, also, I should probably. I don't need to do that. Are we good? Is this gonna work? There we go. There we go. All right. Oh, I completely forgot audio. Ah. All right. We're just gonna continue where we left off. I got a nice, good old monster. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving for anyone that's watching this. And I think I'm gonna throw myself over here. All right, so okay, you guys can still hear me. Perfect. Oh yeah, so what we were doing, or where I left off, was making steel. Good old steel. And We finally got this one up and running, so we're using the rest of the coal, excess coal that we're producing here that I made a long time ago. And now we're gonna use the... Oh, there's a crate in this thing. That needs to be deleted. That needs to be deleted. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna... Oh, no! Okay, you know what? Fine, I won't do that. There we go. Alright, perfect. Perfect. So the goal for today is continuing with the steel, and after we're done with making this steel, we're gonna go back to base and start utilizing that steel and making the industrial encased beams. Oh wait, actually, what are they actually called? And I think it's just encased, or why? All right, whatever. Yeah, we'll use this. We'll get a assembler. Yes, encased industrial pipe or encased industrial beam. Yeah. All right. Okay, so what is the output of iron? I think we're using all the iron that we're producing right now, right? Yes. Also, the reason why we want to make all those things is because we want to start mass producing the tier 4 belts. So in order to do that effectively without running out of the resource that actually makes the tier 4 belts, we got to start making a ton of steel to make the resources so we can start making those belts really, really quickly and rapidly. Yeah. I do plan on watching some of the Destiny stuff soon, but I wanna like get into the flow of making this stuff, and then we'll turn on a video, because I can't do this and game at the same time. But I can do it to a certain point, not to the level of Destiny though. Destiny's like on a whole different level. Okay, so we need iron. And what do you know? We got some iron right here. Actually, we might even have even more. Oh wait, I don't even need this much iron. Because we're gonna be multiplying the amount of iron that the amount of ingots that we're gonna be producing. And I don't necessarily need to do... Wait, hold up. Hold up. Why is this bottlenecking? What is this? Copper? Oh, it's copper. Alright, never mind. I don't care. I thought it was more iron. Okay, so this isn't disgusting. Disgusting. I love this thing. Homing ammo is amazing. Alright. Alright, so we can go up to a max of 480. Yes. That's only... Okay, so we can take... Nice. Okay. And now we gotta upgrade every single... Not sure how that worked, but okay. There we go. It really made upgrading, like, super easy. I like it. Wait. Wait, what? Wait. How much iron do we have coming into the base? So we got 2 iron nodes not being used? That's crazy. I thought it was just 1. No, we got 2 full-on... Wait. Alright, let's see. That's coming from... let me delete this. There we go. Alright. Another 480. Okay. Alright. Come on. Alright. Gotta delete this. There we go. Oh, we have so much iron. Man, the amount of iron that's coming into this base, we might as well just start trucking in more coal. I didn't want to expand this, though. I don't want to expand this. I really don't want to expand this. Shoot. I mean, we could expand it on the... Wait, don't I have empty truck slots here? It might be... Let's see. Wait, hold up. This isn't doing anything. Yes. Wait, no. Wait a second. This doesn't have anything, right? Okay. So this could be used as another input. Okay, so we can get coal from there. All right. And it looks like our base isn't using enough coal, steel. Which is, it makes sense. We're way overproducing the amount of steel that our base is actually using. Also, it's getting trucked to that other base over there, the steel ingots. Let's see. We have a ton of coal up there. And we could upgrade the other coal mine that we have over there too, because we haven't touched that in a while. Actually, we could upgrade the coal that's going into the coal generation location or power facility, somewhere in that direction. Well, actually, whatever. Okay. Alright, so I guess we'll just focus on the amount of coal that we have right now, which is... We're gonna have 480, alright. Iron. Alright, let's do some math. Because the iron's gonna go into this refinery and get turned into... Oh, we said we need water. I knew that was gonna be a thing, but we're almost doubling the amount of iron ingots. That's insane. Alright. So all we need is 480 of this per minute. So let's by 65. Huh. Oh shoot. That's how many machines can hold onto one. All right. Okay. All right. So 8 machines. And then we're basically overproducing for that belt, but we only need the maximum amount that belt can actually handle, so it doesn't really necessarily matter if we're gonna overproduce. All right, I'm gonna get to building. Of course. All right. Autosave. Game freezes every time. All right. That's so cool. That's so cool. Nice, nice. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. Good. Ah, so we're gonna be. I'm gonna. Let's see if we can watch this. Well, we're gonna watch.
I consider
Destiny. This guy right here. Cause I know what I'm doing now in Satisfactory. I can kind of do it in the back end of my mind. Destiny debates an American Palestinian and a viewer's mom. All right.
myself Palestinian American.
Okay.
This actually is not too bad.
Point, okay. And this is very irritating because a lot of Zionists will bring up the Holocaust over and over and over and over again for why so many Jews are trying to escape to Palestine, blah, blah, blah. That comes way the later. I don't want to say it's inconsequential, but that has almost nothing to do with the initial flights of Jewish immigrants that were going to...
100%. No war happens. Israel clearly wins. Done. We are where we are now. I think you're showing on your screen where we kind of landed to. As a Palestinian, I acknowledge that.
It looks like Netanyahu has given the go-ahead on a hostage agreement, the leader of Hamas, in Qatar. The deal involves...
Oh, and I'm debating some guy's mom today.
Oh, shoot.
Can I ask you this? Do you think there can be peaceful, resolutions to issues if Hamas remains in charge of the Gaza Strip? Oh, and I'm debating some guy's mom today. Hi, what's up?
I think I would... I guess want to start with understanding what we disagree on.
Okay.
Hopefully this isn't too controversial for Twitch.
I've seen you, and correct me if I'm
wait, hold on. Your thing just cut off for a second. You said I've seen you.
Sorry, hold on.
You're good. It just didn't pick up that one word. Yeah, I can hear everything. It just there was one word at the end of your sentence that got cut off. I don't know why.
Okay. So I've heard you say, or you claim to be pro-Israeli. I could be wrong. But what does pro-Israeli or pro-Israel mean to you? And what does pro-Palestinian mean to you? I think that's another question.
Oh shoot! Give me 2 seconds.
I don't know if I'd truly say. It depends on what everybody else's position is what it feels like mine lean towards. So in this environment where everybody's saying they want a one-state solution, that feels like I'm pro-Israel, say a two-state solution. My position on everything is I think that 2 states should be carved out that have hopefully roughly the 67 borders. Since some Israeli people are so cucked on the settlements, maybe you can do land swaps or some shit to make it equal so you don't have to completely demolish every settlement. I personally, it might not be politically tenable. I think every single settlement of the West Bank should be demolished, but some people would argue that a couple of them
just got annihilated
so
from a
huge and
truck.
so established. I think the one near Hebron, and there might be one other. It's and then the Green Line ones that maybe those need to stay. If you want to do that, fine, but there has to be big compensation offered for that. Yeah, but so roughly 2-state solution with a lot of what was at the Tapa Summit. We can go to those if you want. And then a 2-state solution, probably demolishing of the West Bank settlements. I think it's broadly speaking my position that I would advocate for. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're pro-Palestinian.
Sure. I don't think that's what the Palestinians want, but sure.
Yeah,
okay, that's a different conversation, but yeah, I'm pretty much aligned with everything you said. I don't think there's been a single proposal.
He calls
all the settlements by Israel. that's never been proposed.
He calls Destiny pro-Palestinian because he agrees with everything that he says, and he has to be pro-Palestinian because that's what this other guy is. If Destiny says that he's pro-Israel, right? Or let's just say he says that, and the other guy knows that for a fact that he agrees with Destiny, but doesn't want to be called pro-Israel. He has to just say outright, oh well, that's just wrong. Destiny's just wrong for thinking that.
Although a lot of them, I think
that's kind of like a cope.
Onwards, there were generous offers to demolish a lot of them, except for the really big ones. But
Destiny.
Yeah.
I want us to be careful on. So when you say generous offers, we agree that the settlements are illegal.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. When I say generous offers, what I mean is more than I would have expected, I think. But I mean, yeah, you could argue that any settlements left up would be by definition not generous. That's a fair statement to make, sure.
Okay, great. So yeah, I guess my point it's more about these offers that have been made, it's about how much the Palestinians are willing to concede based off of what you've just mentioned. And I think it's fair to, you know, trade land swaps, right? I think if there's like large settlement blocks near East Jerusalem that contain like 3% of the land has like 80% of the settlers, then like I think if there's a just swap, maybe even a little bit more on the Palestinian side, since, you know, Israel kind of took it by force.
I can copy blueprints
I think
now.
that's fair, even if it's a 1-to-1. I think you were just going through the Kerry parameters, the John Kerry parameters, that pretty much outlines exactly that.
Yeah, the carry parameters, these look way more reasonable than I thought they would. These look really good. Or I mean, I'm not saying I think they'd be unreasonable, but yeah.
For the argument of the right of refugee, we can argue that. I think 242 pretty much outlines that there needs to be some just resolution. It doesn't exactly call for the return of every single refugee to Israel proper.
Isn't that how 242 is normally read, or am I incorrect on that?
There's different interpretations, but it kind of calls out there needs to be a just resolution to the refugee problem, which Kerry kind of addresses in those.
Oh wait, yes, I did it. I did do that. Okay, I thought I didn't upgrade the
some
belts on
allowed
this.
to actually return, maybe a small number, kind of like a symbolic reason to appease the Palestinian side, whether it's like 50,000 to 100,000, whatever. Nothing that would change the character of the state.
Oh yeah, that was part of the Camp David Accords too. I think was better than, than Israel controlling us, even if the character of the occupation is different. Because it really does seem to me, like I could be wrong, but it really does seem to me to be like in 48, Egyptian and Jordanian advancement into that historic Palestinian area it was literally just territorial conquest. Like that was it. They weren't there to just like protect the Palestinians or anything. They were just conquering territory. Like I think Jordan actually conquered up to the 47 partition lines, and I think Jordan stopped. I don't even know if they like tried to make huge excursions into Israeli land.
So this is actually Jordanians are very well hated amongst a lot of the Arab world because of this problem, because they feel like they were, you know, backstabbed, they were traitors, they gave land to Israel. Like the Iraqi military that had portions of like Haifa during the 48 war was handed over to Jordan, which kind of handed it over to Israel with agreements to take the West Bank. All right, I think when we talk about countries, we have to recognize that the people,
so I think I'm gonna route the steel and the coal back here, and then
what the leadership
yeah,
does.
that's the way to do it.
Look at Egypt and Jordan.
Or actually, we got
Israel,
the coal. I'm not gonna route the coal that way. That's stupid. I'm gonna route it all the way back there just to go back over there and get to come over here. No, we'll come over here first. Like I said, this is gonna be a logistical nightmare.
I know that there was some in Gaza at least pushback and resistance against the Egyptians for a while. By no means like to the level we see now. And I believe the PLO, I'm not sure exactly when the PLO was established. I want to say before 67.
Well, let's see. The PLO was obviously big in 70, but I think it's before 67 the PLO gets established. I think so, yeah. I think it's established, isn't it, in the West Bank? I can check that. Go ahead.
I think it was in early 60s, but I believe it was before the 67 war, which to me shows clearly there was an identity prior to 67, like a Palestinian identity of wanting, you know, their own state.
I would agree that like once Israel emerges, I think people really want to fight against Israel and really want to get rid of Israel. But at that point, I feel like those people wanting a state is a function of one, the other Arab states around them having states, and then two, like them wanting to kick the Jewish people out of Israel, basically, or the Israeli people out. So, yeah, I would say that maybe around this point, like when these Palestinian parties start to form, they're like kind of quote unquote nationalist. But I think it's more in opposition to Israel, more than like this historic yearning for their, you know, nation state is emerging from a Palestinian people. I think that would be my feeling on it. But go ahead.
I don't want us to get hung up on this so much, but I've heard Ben Shapiro say something like, "Oh, there was never a Palestinian like that. That's like a made-up word," which is maybe in English it was, but in Arabic, like Palestinian.
I like how he gives that. It kind of gives in a little bit.
centuries, like that turn. It may
Like
have
the
not
argument
been
is kind of
referring
sound
to
in
the
English,
exact
but
portions today. Obviously, these
cares
borders
about
are
English?
pretty arbitrarily drawn by the Brits, but there was a almost like a character, maybe not a character that seeked. You may be right, right? They wanted just one unified Arab country, but there was still a type of people, and maybe in the 60s is when they started really saying like, okay, it's time for us to get our own country because, the Iraqis and the Egyptians, they all got their own countries. Like we were promised.
Oh, I
this
should probably
from,
connect all the
like,
wires up.
Whatever ruler of Mecca, and we're not getting our land. But regardless, 67 war happens. We can disagree on on who started that war. You can say it was a provocation from the closure of the Suez Canal, and I can say like, well, at the end of the day, Israel fired the first rocket and lied about it. So I'm not interested in going into that, like whatever. I'd rather focus on the present. 67. After 67, we have, I believe, there was at some point the PLO pretty early on recognized Israel's right to exist, and Israel as a state to live side by side with a Palestinian state. I don't know if you've done that in your readings or at all.
Was that a requirement for them to get that observer status in the UN? I know they did in the Oslo Accords, but that was in '93. Do you think it happened before that?
The observer state didn't happen until like 2012, like way later. At least the non-observer,
Wait, are you sure?
Pretty much access to IC, the criminal court happened in 2012. I don't know exactly if there was like some recognition before then. I know they established themselves as a state. I want to say was it 93?
Well, 93 was Oslo Accords and everything. Wait, I thought it was way, or I thought it was like the 70s that they got some observer status. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, it's been a long time since I read this. Okay, so November of 1974, the PLO was granted observer status at the UN, and Yasser Arafat addressed the General Assembly. I don't know if this means that like Palestine was recognized as an official state, although we're moving pretty far past Resolution 242 at this point, so maybe for the UN. I don't even know what it means for the UN to have a resolution to recognize a state that doesn't have a government. I don't know what any of that means, so even, yeah. But, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I know in 2012 it changed. There was a vote. I believe it became an observer state before it was a non-observer state, or vice versa. Not 100% sure. Regardless, 73 war, or 67, obviously Israel took more land. 73, Yom Kippur.
Are you kidding me?
Syria, Egypt attacked. Jordan kind of begrudgingly joined, and I think that there's a peace deal in 79. My dates could be wrong, sorry. 79 between Egypt and Israel to say like, here, we're gonna give you the Sinai back. This is over. Sinai Peninsula is yours, and we're all good to go. I think around that, or maybe it wasn't until the 90s where Jordan signed a peace treaty with Israel. Not 100% sure on the Jordan, but I know there is some peace treaty there.
Yeah, I think Egypt was 70. I think Egypt was 79. And then I think
yes, there we go. Oh no.
And then Jordan, I think was 90.
Oh,
because I think it was a few years after the Madrid.
Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been bad.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah, early 90s for Jordan. It sounds right. During this time, since 67 till now, Israel has been building illegal settlements. I don't think that's like up for debate. I think you've acknowledged that. I think the entire world is on board with that these settlements are illegal by law, and the people living under this occupation have, and you can push back on this, have the right to
or actually wait
resist.
Real quick, I don't know about that part.
All right, all the coal is doing its thing
relating to international law. When we say the settlements are illegal under international law, is that like do we absolutely know that, or is this like a debated or contested thing?
I think America has even acknowledged these settlements as illegal. I don't think this is contested at this point. Feel free to do your research. I can try to find some sources on this.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be curious to see that. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a big point whether or not these settlements are illegal. I think the case for Israel is saying, well, Palestine isn't necessarily a country, so these settlements aren't technically illegal. I think that's the pro-Zionist case.
Okay.
So we can build on it because technically it's not a country, which is I think a weak case. It's the majority of the world recognizes Palestine as a state. So fast forward, bunch of peace attempts at peace. I think like 8 or something. Madrid,
No.
named a few. Oslo, right,
Oh my God.
kind of broke
All
up
right.
West Bank into the 3 areas for joint control, which I think was a terrible mistake by the Palestinians. I think at that point, Yasser Arafat, I'm trying to say like these names with like a.
There we go. Perfect.
He was so desperate.
I didn't feel like
recognition where he
undoing
just
all
wanted
of
to, like,
this just to
agree
make it go
whatever
in that
peace
direction
offered.
instead of
That's
going
that
around.
was my take on
Going
it.
around was way
I
easier.
would
One
admit
click
that's
here,
a-
one
that's
click
a
there, perfectly straight.
opinion.
Awesome.
And they agreed to this like really crappy situation where Israel controls Area C, joint control over Area B,
Right.
and Palestinian control over Area A. All of these enclaves. So when you go there, it's essentially wait at a checkpoint for a few hours, arbitrary time to get to the other side of like the equivalent of going from like LA to San Diego, right? It's like it's a 2-hour trip. It's going to take you like 12 hours sometimes. And then obviously
Okay,
there's
so that's not
laws
too
in the
bad.
West Bank, military laws against, like you go through military court if you're a resident of the West Bank, and you don't get the same rights obviously as an Israeli citizen. So a lot of bias there. I don't know if you've heard of a group called Breaking the Silence. I believe they were established in 2004 by IDF veterans that want to anonymously give their testimonies on what they do in the West Bank, and some of them are regretful, and some of them feel like that is something Israel has to do. And it's some crazy testimonies that you'll see on how Israel tries to essentially break the will of the Palestinians in the West Bank from wanting to have their own state. So settlers, I think you already talked about this, are pieces of shit, and settlements should be, for the most part, demolished and removed, and people should go back to Israel proper, and a 2-state solution needs to happen. Now, my argument is in the past 15 years, there hasn't been any attempt by Israel, I would say quite the opposite, any type of solution. And so those living under occupation in, I would say Gaza's under occupation, and you can reject that point because
Perfect.
they ripped out the
I am
settlements.
loving these
Guys,
90-degree
settlers
angles.
that were there. I would argue it's still under occupation because Israel has
Yes,
population
yes,
registry,
yes.
control over that, control over obviously
Oh,
airspace.
I just realized we're
the water,
shoot.
the borders. So I would argue that that's still technically
We're
an
reducing a
occupation.
buttload of
I
steel.
don't know if you disagree.
So
with
much steel that I'm gonna have
I
to,
don't really care that much.
if I really want
feel
to, I might have
basically is
to
an occupation. I think I got one
like
person emailing me
export it
pushing
on
back
like
really hard, saying
have
that,
2
like,
stations
this isn't
exporting
border
steel.
control since it's not an
But I think I'm
occupation.
just gonna wait until I get
My
higher
feelings on that, like, don't matter that
belt
much
bandwidth or
unless
whatever.
It's like a huge argument for something later on. Then maybe I would revisit this
Well,
opinion and try
it's
to figure out.
important.
Yeah.
It's important because if it is an occupation, Israel is responsible for for those they're occupying, including giving them water, food, and electricity.
Sure.
That's
So,
why it's
like-
important to make that distinction.
Okay, yeah. Like, so the reason why I would disagree is because I would say that, like, even if it's not an occupation, all of the protective measures that Israel has up blockading that territory would still make them responsible. We'd probably like
Sure.
end up agreeing, in fact. But yeah, I just.
Okay, so given that the past 15 years has
Was that high enough?
come out,
Oh, that's a bit
I've
too
seen
high.
you in the past, like
No, that looks stupid. Let's see.
call certain groups terrorist groups, which is fine. I don't want to argue that. And it's you kind of have to admit the IDF, and I know you've said that non-state actors are the only ones that can be designated as terrorist groups, or at least that's what you feel. And it's
Well,
kind
yeah.
of
Hold
weird
on. Let me
to
be
classify
super
armies.
clear before we get into
Sure.
this one. When I said it feels like only non-state actors are generally classified as terrorists, what I'm working off of is that, like, when we use words like terrorists, I think we're very much like in these kind of like bubbles of grouping things together. I don't think there's like a strict definition. I don't even know in the United States. I think
did
some
I
of
do
our
that
orgs
perfectly?
Might disagree on like.
Oh,
what
yes, I did.
terrorist is or
Oh,
isn't.
yes, I did.
So yeah, that's.
Oh,
when I
no,
say
I
that,
didn't.
I'm just
Oh,
saying. Like,
actually,
how
no,
we feel
that
about
works.
things generally. I think that
That
the word
works.
terrorist is like a kind of
works,
like
yeah.
feeling word. I don't put much like legal or moral authority necessarily behind
Oh,
it. Right?
wait,
You
I'm
could
an-
probably
oh
argue
my
that the early American revolutionaries
Shoot.
were
1.5
terrorists, the
belts,
Boston Tea
1.5
Party was, like, a
belts. Okay,
terrorist act,
so-
maybe arguably, I'm not sure. I don't
couldn't
have,
agree more.
What's
strong
half
feeling
of?
for it,
Okay,
but
so 6.
Look, I couldn't agree more. I feel like
So
the word has been
3,
kind
half
of,
of 6, 3. So 9
used in
belts,
so many different
right? Let me do
contexts.
the
I
math
do
to
think
make
the
sure.
pro-Palestinian side, it feels like any kind of armed resistance against the occupation, whether it's against Israel proper or settlements in the West Bank, is seen as terrorist, quote unquote, terrorist attacks. Whereas when you look in the news, what settlers are doing are considered, extremist, violence, blah blah blah.
8.
So yeah, I
8.
agree that it's more of like an
8?
emotional word.
That would be 9.
Meaning anything.
Okay, all right,
Do
8.
you,
That's
do
the
you
number.
believe that
1,
groups
2,
or people
6,
under
7,
an
8.
occupation
Okay, all right.
have the right to armed resistance?
So
There
this is 6. This is
international
also
law.
6.
There is like I think the ICC. I can send you something about it.
You know what?
Where if you are
We got to use 2
under
belts anyways, right?
Occupation, you are technically allowed.
Well, careful.
To
That
resist.
is true, but none of that international law, none of the international law is going to allow you to like kill civilians, right?
Absolutely.
None of the international law is going to allow you to do indiscriminate attacks. Okay, yeah. So like, can they fight back in certain ways against like occupying powers, whatever? I mean, like probably, but like obviously that's not our issue. In general, I don't.
It's very
think.
important. Like I know you look. You say probably, but it's they do have the right, right? If let's say a hypothetical Palestinians in the West Bank killed an Israeli soldier, that should be allowed under international law, according to what you just said and according to what I'm saying, and not indiscriminately attacking civilians. I think it's really hard to argue against that. So I'm curious. Do you-
That's no. They should be allowed to. No, they argue a lot between this, and I think Destiny kind of wins this point. But
think that they are.
I'm gonna have to leave very
Palestinians
soon.
Living in the West Bank or Gaza are allowed to attack military bases or
Indiscriminately
sites or
kill
soldiers.
Indiscriminately. That's the thing that really I can't.
No, I'm trying to think of ways to like claw back.
Like,
because like
that's like terrible.
it's the thing that's annoying about this is that like even calling this an occupation is like so everything about the situation is so unique. Here would be a question for asking if I could compare this to something. Has there ever been in the history of the world a people who get occupied who aren't part of like a prior state?
Aren't part of a prior. I mean,
Like,
would
so
you
for instance, let's say there was like a country of, let's say there was the country of Nebraska, and Iowa invades and indefinitely occupies, Omaha.
All right, so this is a
right? And they've got an occupation
full
going
belt
on,
of steel.
Like the people of Nebraska might fight against this occupation, but like, let's say that like if we're in like the Wild West or some shit, or there's not even a country declared yet, is that occupation of the same character as occupying a pre-existing state?
Why does it matter if it was a state or not?
Why does it matter if it was a state or not?
An
Well,
occupation
because
is
when we
occupation,
say
right?
an occupation, what are we occupying?
Sure. Something that's not yours. Something that's not yours in terms of like sovereignty. You don't have sovereignty over that land.
Sure, but when we say not yours,
Seriously?
whose is it?
It's hard to say. Like, do I own this street in front of my house? Like, can someone come and occupy that street?
Well, no,
if I
the
don't
United
live on
States
it? Like,
does, right? Well, no, that's all very clear. You probably have an easement with the city for like your sidewalk. The streets themselves are owned by the city or the municipality, right?
No, let's talk about historical Palestine for a second, right?
Sure.
Did they own the streets they lived on, like assuming it was historical Palestine and this like conquest? came
Okay, you
in,
know what?
like,
I'm done.
if they come
All
and
right,
build
goodbye.
bases on
I'll see you
my
guys later.
roads and my city streets
See what's on
and the
screen.
outskirts
Thank
of
you very
my
much.
village,
Goodbye.
Is that not an occupation?